Hello, welcome to Ephemera Files with Tommy. My craft room redo is not complete yet. However, I had to do something that was not organizing and sorting and moving and cleaning, and I really want to get back into my July journal from a simple kit that I am working on with the DearJulieJulie group. So here I am. I'm on the backwards side of my desk from what I'm used to working on because my camera mount is behind me on my left side, and it used to be right beside me on my right side. So I'm going to have to figure out a different way of mounting it if I want to continue to work from that side of my desk. It's just so much easier over there because I already have all my stuff over there. Over here, I'm a little backwards. So let's get into this. I had a thought as I was doing all of my other sorting and purging and clearing out my ridiculous amount of studio supplies. I think that I miscalculated the size I wanted the journal to be. I'm going to move this behind me because I had originally said that it was going to be 11.5 by 7 3/4 because that is what my cover measured. And then I realized in order to make it 11.5, I was going to have to do a whole lot of frankenpaging. So I changed it to 8.5 by 7 3/4, which would make 8 by 7.5 inch pages. And then I thought again, I am going to just make it 6 inches, which means I'm going to cut off part of this little banner, and that's okay. I can live with that. And that way, my 12 by 12 pages, I can simply cut in half to make my signatures. Because I will be putting edges and stuff on this after I get all the signatures in. And that's going to need some room to be protected. So I think that that is what I'm going to do, is make all of my pages 6 by 6. Which means I now need to cut this cover down just a bit. So I'm going to pull out my trimmer. I have 2 trimmers, but one is on loan right now, so I need to get my big one out, which is probably the one I should use anyway because this is thick. So I'm going to measure, let's see, I don't actually have to have that on there right now because it is not glued on, it's not drying or anything. It was just there so that I could keep it all together. This is the inside binding, or inside of my spine. So we're going to measure from right here. And I'm not going to make it 6 because I want to have that protection there. And we said that it was going to be, I've lost my little note already, 7 3/4, and I think that might be too much. I think 7 will be plenty. Yes, because if my signatures are 6, then 7 is an entire inch to help control all the fluff and stuff that will eventually be in there. Ooh, fingers crossed that I haven't messed up my math again. Oh, this makes me so nervous. This is just so definite. How about 7.5? That'll make it about square. 7 3/4 would make it square, I believe. Let's just check that real quick. Yes, 7 3/4 would make it square. So let's just do that. That way it's square. And that way if it needs to be a little smaller, I can take care of that. Oh, this is nerve-wracking. Oh, there we go. Okay. No going back now. Well, actually, it's a junk journal. I can always put it back on there somehow and make it look good. It's part of the beauty of it. Okay, so I've already cut that one, so this one should not make me so nervous. Why does it still make me nervous? I don't know. It's just so definite. Get over it, Tommy. Get over it. See, did that go all the way through? Nope. Got to do it a couple more times up here. I think I might be needing a new blade in this one. Whew. Okay, that was nerve-wracking. Nerve-wracking. So I'm going to go ahead and put this back on with the clips so that I don't lose anything. Oh, my allergies are still acting up. I took medicine and everything. If you're able to be allergic to it, I'm allergic to it, it seems like. Okay, so let's see. Here, I'm trying to remember where my first, what was included, oh my goodness, what was included in my first signature. I think I may need to work backwards because I think that I needed to redo a couple of the pages. I'll set that aside for a moment. I'm going to turn this over because I know that my 12 by 12 sheets are on the bottom. I started to do the first signature just to get everything figured out, and that's when I figured out that I needed to do a different size. So there's that. That. Okay, that is signature what? That one has the page number in it. Right there. This is signature 2. And what I need to do is put a clip on it so that I don't get them all mixed up again. In this video, I am probably just going to do the first signature, and then I'll do the others off camera, or I may, I don't know, who knows. This is signature, this is 1. So the one that I did must have been 5. Must have been signature number 5. I believe that is correct. 4, but I could be wrong, who knows. Not like that's ever happened before. You are getting a rough video today. I was kind of fed up and worn out from thinking and trying to arrange and just trying to get things put together. Okay, I believe that was 3. I cannot remember if the envelopes go with 3 or with whatever number that is. I think that's 5. Yes. Cannot remember if I think the envelopes go with 3 because that was going to be in, nope, it goes with 5. There we go, because it was already clipped in there. All right. That settles that. So these are the papers that I know are going to go into the first signature. So I need to make sure and cut them down to 6 by 6. This is where I discovered that I was going to have to figure out a way to extend this out to be 11 and a half, and realized that that just wasn't going to work very well. And so then I went down to 8 and a half, which might have worked, except for it was going to take a whole lot more work. So I think I'm going to stick with just 6 by 6. I can cut my papers in half pretty well. This was how I was trying to put them together. I think that they are 6 inches that way. Let's see. No, they are 6 inches that way. So I will trim that down on that side, on the long side. And then now, since this is folded, I've got something else I can work with. And I'll put that into the basket. So, and this will be something extra to work with because it will not make a full page. I do not trust myself to cut a straight line with a pair of scissors. So I rely on this heavily. All right, so we're doing 6 by 6. Let's see, let's just make sure. Yes. My goodness, I am so double thinking myself today. Double thinking. That's not the right word. I'll think of it at some point. Okay, so there's that one. This is an extra one as well. This one is not the one I want. And here's the other part of the Franken paging I was attempting to do. And I think that we are getting past that. So now I have these extras. Goodness gracious. I have a lot of extra paper to play with now. Either that or I have a lot of mistakes to fix. Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's make sure that this edge is 12. It is. So this needs to be 6. Let's see if there's a barcode or anything on the back I need to get around. Nope. Shouldn't have been because it was in a paper pack, but sometimes things happen. Okay. We'll fold this in half. I read or saw somewhere that you really shouldn't fold your pages for your signature in half before you've got it stacked up, because if you wait, then they nestle together better and it doesn't what's the word, bloom or stretch out, like sit out, and then you've got all these stair-step pages. I have yet to try that. Let's see. And my envelope design is going to have to change a little bit because now the envelopes are too tall. But we'll get it. Let's see what else needs to be reconfigured. Let's see. These were actually going to work, I believe, because they were 7 1/4. Except for now, they are too long. So, and I already have this edge folded because it was going to be a pocket that way. So I'm going to trim this. And yes, if I was taking this kit with me on a trip, I would still have a paper trimmer. Like I said, it is just on loan right now and it has not come home. I had probably better not try doing all those layers. When it comes home, that is the one that I tend to pick for cutting my thin papers. And it's a We Are Memory Keepers little cut and score. All right, that one is complete. And then this is the same way, it's just folded inside for the pockets. So we will measure 6. And once again, I'm not going to try to double cut that. Let's do it that way. Put the 6 right there on the, I didn't fold that very straight. Let's try getting it a straight fold before we cut. There we go. I also tend to use this one more when I am going to be doing lots and lots and lots of paper cutting, because on the We Are Memory Keepers paper trimmer, the blade is exposed, and I have raked my raked my arm across it, giving myself a not so nice little cut. It does not feel good. Okay, now this may be fun. I may have to find another use for that heart. It can still go in this journal. I may just have to make it a fold down and sew the signature up here and then fold that over the signature so that when you open it up, you can flip it down and you can color it. So we'll just set that aside there and I'll figure that out. I feel like I am missing a lot of papers from this one. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, I have them all. It just looks very small. I'm not accustomed to making small 6x6 journals. So this one measures 10 that way. And I think that what I am going to do is actually cut this at 6 inches here. And then I will fold it together and use one of these other cutoffs that I have. Sorry, my back is to you because I am reaching for one of the cutoffs. Okay, that interruption was my little alarm telling me it's time for my afternoon meds. So let's get back into this. This is a cutoff from when I was trying to Frankenpage the other pages. I think, like I said, I think that I can just cut this in half, and then I can cut off the edge here, probably at 7 inches. I don't know, I may even have enough. Let's see. Oh, perfect. When I cut this off and I cut that in half, I can attach this here. Instead of explaining it, why don't I just do it? 10.5, so that's going to be 5 1/4. We're just going to cut right here. I don't like my horizontal lines to go vertically in journals. It's hard to write on them like that. So we'll cut off this little edge here. I think we need to cut off more than that little edge, actually, because I just said I needed to cut it off at 6. Goodness gracious, Tommy. Yes. Oh, I'm rethinking. And there I have another nice little piece of paper that would make a really nice little journaling tuck. And then the same here. And this time I'm not going to bother cutting that off first because I know it's going to get cut off anyway. And then this, let's see which part. I like that yellow flower. So we'll cut this off at 6 as well. I don't mind cutting off that yellow flower. I have that one. And look, a nice little tiny journaling card that'll just tuck right in somewhere. And that looks so nice. Then what we will do when it comes time, I knew that was a little short. I started to worry myself again, and for no reason. And I don't think that my lines are going to line up just because of the way the music staffs work, but you're not going to see them both at the same time anyway. So I will put those in there. I will probably trim that just a little bit more. Yes. So those were 5 1/4, so I will cut this at 5 1/4. It'll be shorter, but again, it's a junk journal, and that's part of the interest. So I will be gluing those in here in just a moment, as soon as I put away my cutting board. And I'm going to do that right now, just so I don't forget what it was that I was going to do, because it's just been that kind of a day. I love this. I have to show you this. This is one of my favorite tools that I have. And I don't even know that you would really call it a tool of its own. It's not anything that's in here. It is this. And I will tip it. And you can see I have labels on the sides. Cutting and writing, and gluing, and pokes and pulls were the other two. And then tools and more tools. And then in the center I have my tall things, my rulers, magnifying glass, my pinking shears, different odds and ends like that. And that is just my favorite thing. And it's just right here, except for I didn't put it in the right spot. So now it's hitting my coffee mug. And I can just turn it and I can find what it is that I need. And what I need right now is my glue stick. Do I want glue stick or do I want my, I think I want my Fabri-Tac instead. Or my 3-in-1. I think it's all the same. So we are going to, that way is up. So we'll put this top here. Yes. And I'm going to get a card because I don't like bumps when I use my Fabri-Tac. I do like my glass desktop because everything comes off. I don't have to worry about it staining or tearing or getting glue on it because it all comes off. Paint comes off. Everything comes off. Well, except for scratches. And it is possible to scratch it because I have. But I've also had this desk for, let's see, this is 2019. We built this house in 2007, so 12 years. 12 years, it's got a few scratches. It's been through a few incarnations. It started out in our office as our desk, our computer desk. And then we remodeled the office, and my husband built this one. And then we remodeled the office, and he built another one that worked better for our needs at that time. And this became my studio table. And it's been my studio table for a while. And like I said, I love the glass top. If you can get a glass top, it also acts like a giant light box. If I take the foam core that this white background you see is underneath of my glass, underneath the desk, sitting on top of a couple of bookcases. And if you remove that, you can actually put a light, a little lamp or something up under it, and you have a huge light box. I have a small one that plugs in, but depending on my project, because I'm artsy fartsy, Lady Leonardo, I like to do all kinds of things. Sometimes I just need a bigger spot. And that's one of our pages, and I think that is lovely, considering that it's caused by a mistake. Now, I need not to fold it yet because some of that glue is sticking. Considering it started out as a mistake, I think it's a lovely resolution. And then that glue will dry on here and it'll just come off because of this plastic. All right, so still have to figure out what I'm going to do with the envelopes because they're too big. So I was going to put them in like this to have pockets. I may do this. Yes, I will do this. I will fasten those together. Just right across there and right across there. And I will cut across the top at 6 inches. That'll give me top loading pockets. Depending on how I attach that, I could put a extra piece of decorative paper or something like that right there and still have use of my pocket because my signature will be sewn through there. That's an idea. That is definitely an idea. So I am going to go ahead and cut across these. Get that done so that I don't forget again what I am doing. I'm so sorry about all the noise with this cutter. It's a great cutter. It's just noisy. Like a lot of things in my life. All right. Now I wonder why I didn't waffle so much on cutting that. I don't know. Oh, but now I need to make sure that I cut this other one the right direction. I'm doing that. Then I need to cut this part off. I know you're thinking, Tommy, just cut it. There, I cut it. Are you happy? And I have more of these envelopes. If that was a mistake, it was a mistake. Mistakes happen. And now I don't remember. There. For a moment I thought, well, and now I don't remember what I'm doing. So, let's see. I'm just going to keep that together like that for right now. And I'll tuck this one into this end. Getting the first signature figured out is sometimes the hardest part. It's figuring out how you're going to put it together, what size you're going to make it. I think I'll just make those top loading pockets instead of worrying about trying to be all fancy with everything. Because I think that that'll work. If I glue this part down, I can decorate this. I can add a little tuck spot or some kind of ephemera there. And I can do the same on this side. And that way the brand name isn't showing. All right, there is that. This I don't have to cut because I'm going to simply fold it. And I think this is ready to figure out the parts. I still feel like this is awful small and thin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Maybe it's because my other journals are always so big that I'm having trouble making the signature smaller since it's going to have 5 signatures. I bet that's my problem. Because I'm just making a simple journal, right? Keep it simple, Tommy. All right, so I need to figure out, I think that I want this one to be the cover, which means that this needs to go next. And I think I'm going to put this cattywampus and just fold it right there. Just so this is big enough that it looks important. And then I have an extra little spot back here that I can add things to. And I believe the next thing I will do is the envelopes, because they pick up on that color right there. We'll do that just like that. And it's approximately the same size. Although, I think I would like for that one to be the one that's behind that paper, because it's not a similar color, and so it'll stand out better. I'm mumbling, I'm sorry. I'm going to shift this around just a little bit so that I've got this rust color backing that. I think that looks nicer. I think maybe I needed to fold that down just a little farther. just so I have a nice frame of that rust color. Yes, much better. I like that a lot. All right, so the next one, I'm going to make this an inside pocket. And then we'll have this. I want to put this in the center. And I think that this will be a better background for it, so we will put this one in next. And then this will have the pockets on the outside. There we go. And then, do I want that or do I want, I think I want that. We'll fold this the other direction. And it's not right according to the edge because the two hearts are not similarly shaped. This one, the drawing goes all the way to the edge of that heart. This one, it's way down here. And so I tried to accommodate both. And I think that it'll work this way. Now, we'll just put this here. And what will happen is I'll sew through here. This will be folded up. I have done this in another journal. I will not send a link. I will post a link below to the journal I did that had a fold out or two like this. I can't remember if I did one or two like that. All right, and that will be our first signature, and that's actually not too bad. Not too bad. It just seemed like very few papers, but I need to remember I will have 5. And there's our first signature. I will continue to do that with the others, and I'll come back and I'll do a flip through of each of the signatures. And then on the next video, hopefully, we will be decorating some pages before we sew them into our book, because it is hard to do some embellishments when it's already put together. So I will see you next time. I will not see you next time because this is a video. You will see my hands next time. And until then, remember to be kind always.